Welcome back to more ESL Major League action on Khaldor TV here. We have another best of 3 series, and today we're going to look at WellMed versus Team Arthas. The Russian team hasn't really arrived in the patch just yet. They played a couple of games and didn't play bad, but they are far from the dominance that they sometimes put on their opponents in the last patch. So right now they're still trying to find their stride a bit, and the first map here in the Major League match happens on Dragonshire, and Arthas is going for a composition where they are trying to run with an Illidan combined with also Arthas behind that. So pretty strong comp for them. They have a ETC together with that. They even use Arthas to really get some Illidan action into play. And WellMed is going for a different approach here. WellMed is actually playing one of those games that we've already seen quite a lot, where you try to have 2 initiators, in this case it's Tyrael and Nubarak, and really try to put the pain on your opponent. So WellMed with a very strong lineup here when it comes to the initiation and the team fights. We're going to see who's going to take the first game here in the best of 3 series. Guys, without further ado, Dragonshire between WellMed and Team Arthas.
Prepare for combat.
And the game starts. Game number 1, ladies and gentlemen, here at the ESL Major League. We're having WellMed going up against Team Arthas. And to the left side of the map it is Arthas Stroidram with Anilendi playing Arthas. We have Des on ETC. Unstable is playing Arthas. Sevkaja on Rega. And Illidan played by Kuni-chan. So the Illidan combination with Arthas and Rega support. And to the right side we're having WellMed with a double tank lineup, a double bruiser lineup. Soccer playing Tyrael. Shadowma on Brightwing. Sportbillier on Anubarak in this case. We're having Hazops and Jaina, and Sorvold on Vala. So, game on, and let's see who's going to take the first map here in this best of 3 series. I'm actually pretty curious to see who's going to take it, because both of these teams, I have not seen too much of them in the new patch. I've casted one game where Arthas played, and they lost that match. They did fairly well, I have to say, but in the end they lost the map. Right now though, they are going up against WellMed, and I haven't seen WellMed in this meta, but I feel that this patch is going to work quite well for them. They adapted to the double healer meta in the last patch really fast, especially against Illidan. They use that composition quite often. Right now they are of course going up against the Russian team, who is traditionally quite strong and actually very inventive when it comes to new metas and talking about like new team compositions. When we're talking about the talents, there's a lot of changes right now. What we could see, for example, on level 4 for Shadowma on his Brightwing is Promote, and that's actually no joke. Like, Promote is being used a lot on Brightwings, and the talent got so much better now that it lasts for 30 seconds instead of 15. You can really have some split pushing going on with Brightwing, who is just like trying to soak experience on a solo lane anyways. In this case though, let's focus a bit on the talents that we already have on the board, which is in this case Avatar, of course, Pressurized Glance. The focus on rolling like a stone on level 1 here for ETC, pretty normal, since you want to go for the power slide build with ETC in competitive play. We're going to see the double neck guitar on level 4 to just complement that. Hazops is in a bit of trouble with Jaina. Jaina is still one of the squishies, really good when it comes to the numbers and damage, but very weak until level 13, also not a lot of escape. You get 2 escapes on 13, you can pick one. Oh, good kill against ETC here. He lost a lot of his tankiness in the last patch and is now doing more damage, is a bit more of a bruiser, and actually more of one of those utility tanks, which is pretty cool. Down here we have Arthas, a hero that of course everybody is talking about right now. With Arthas, what you kind of focus on is a build that really just goes straight for the living bombs, since you can easily apply that to an opponent and then get a lot of damage in. Normally at the beginning of the game it's actually more common to see Arthas players trying to focus, not with talents, but with their passive, with the Veteran Spheres, on the Flame Strike, because you can easily push the lanes back. You can really farm the waves and can push the lanes back. At level 7 you get Fission, and then suddenly you can start doing damage with living bombs, but the talent where that really comes into play is then later on when you have level 13 and level 16, and you can start to poke with a Flame Strike, and Flame Strike also applies living bombs to every single target that it hits, which is damn good. That's where Arthas really shines, where he does most of his damage. We have a level 4 now, and we do not see Promote. We have instead Protective Shield. It kind of makes sense if you want to protect a few targets here. In this case, of course, like, they don't really are going for split push. Uh-oh! Sevka nearly with a hit against the Dragon Knight, but nope, Des is actually low. Hazops needs some assistance, and Brightwing is already jumping in. to help out his own allies. Actually, he did not really save Jaina. Yeah, oh, they get the kill against Rhaegar though. Oh my god, they lose Brightwing on the other hand, and Sportbeat is very low and also dying here. Great start into the game for Team Arthas. We're having on level 4 now, besides the double neck guitar that I pointed out earlier, also the Adrenal Overlord, which is great for Illidan. Up at the top lane, Soccer was able to prevent the worst by taking the shrine and therefore denying the Dragonite to the opponent. Regarding the talents, we're having on level 1 the Colossal Totem taken, and I really like that a lot. I've seen that already a few times on the side of Arthas. They just decided to not go into the Healing Totem anymore, because Healing Wards and Healing Totem got actually nerfed quite a bit in the patch. They are now, you can damage them with area effect spells, which usually means that you don't, they don't survive in a fight. They usually shouldn't. Like, it's very easy to pick them off right now. You can of course always argue that players have to find better positioning for the Healing Wards, but it's very, very difficult to get a good Healing Ward out that is not immediately taken out by your opponent. So in this case, it's more of a focus on the Rhaegar players that have used the hero so far to go on the Colossal Totem here. We're probably going to see both builds in this patch quite a lot. Level 7 talents, and here's already the Fission Bomb that I've been talking about earlier. Mana Addict helps you a lot with the mana pool in the mid and also the early late game, since Khaldor needs a lot of mana. Des at the bot lane is going straight for just keep rocking. The other talent that's oftentimes taken is the Guitar Hero, which allows you to get some more self-heal with your attacks, with the basic attacks. There's of course Needle Spine for Abathur, pretty common to see that if you want to go for an Illidan support build. That's exactly what's happening here. Oh, and Des going straight in with a power slide, but doesn't achieve too much. It's interesting also to see Amplified Healing on level 4 taken by Tyrael. This is a talent that was oftentimes taken by Tyrael when he was the Soul Bruiser or like Soul Tank in the lineup. Oftentimes we see a full Smite build now taken when you have 2 or 3 melee warriors. In this case though, we're having still the talent taken, so apparently they expect quite a lot of focus, and Tyrael is going to dive pretty deep for that. Battle Momentum is the common talent to take on level 7 because it just helps you so much with getting your cooldowns kind of low. And the alternative is to go for Shield here, which we will probably see on level 13 then, with the Imposing Will. It's just such a great talent that very few Tyrael players are passing up on it. But still, level 4 here, Amplified Healing, I could have seen him go for a full Smite build, considering that they have an Uberak in the same lineup now as well. Another oddity that we have, oh, good kill there against Vala. Unstable already moving in, and they're trying to go for Sportbeat as well. Does he get the Fission Bombs in again? Nope, he goes for the Flame Strike instead, but Illidan dives deep. Kunichan for the kill, 5 kills against 3. 2 shrines go to well met, but they can't take the Dragonite. They have 1 hero down, and it's already Khaldor moving down to the bot lane and trying to get this one. Interestingly enough, we're having no stage dive on ETC, but it is Mosh Pit. It has a pretty cool level 20 talent now for the Mosh Pit, where you can actually use a power slide while being in Mosh Pit, which prolongs the Mosh Pit by 2 seconds, and of course you can reposition. In theory, you can start a Mosh Pit here in the bush and then power slide into the opponent, which is of course kind of funny if you think about it. We're having also Phoenix taken on Khaldor, so if you're used to more seeing Pyroblast in Hero League matches or in quick matches, Phoenix is the talent that most competitive players go for because the cooldown is just so low, it's only 40 seconds, and also it's great for zoning, especially when we're talking about a map where you have the 2 shrines and also the midpoint at the Dragonite to take care of. Then Phoenix is just amazing. Once again, the attack at the bot lane. Here, Arthas is still ahead. Both of the teams have their 10s now. We have Web Blast taken here, just as the side note. Oh, the silence! But look at that! They are able to get the quick ancestral healing in. The silence, by the way, triggered by the polymorph here, just in case that somebody was confused looking at the lineup and saying, well, there's no Sylvanas, there's no Malfurion, how can there be a silence? It's actually like, there you see it again, like silence, once that you polymorph somebody, it basically just indicates that he's not able to use any spells. At the top lane, Kunichan and Soccer, they are fighting it out, and, well, talking about talents a bit more, one of the things that I really want to point out as well is that when we're currently looking at a Nubarak, we do not have the full Beetle build. There are basically 2 builds right now in Nubarak. The first one is when you go for the Scarabs on level 1 as well to get some extra damage in with them, or if you are trying to get the extended range on the spikes. And that is the build that we are seeing from Wilmet here. Both of the builds are viable, both of the builds depend very much on what your personal preference is, but you will see both of them in competitive play. Those are the 2 adjustments on the first 3 levels that players make. By the way, Hazops is going for Envenom here on level 4, so it's being a bit more aggressive, and of course it's also added damage to Illidan, and there it is, who has to use Metamorphosis to jump away. Apparently Hazop's not really too worried about his mana pool here. Oftentimes you see Arcane Intellect taking on level 4 that helps Jaina out quite a bit. Here comes that Flame Strike again, and Flame Strike is really great. The way that Khaldor works is that he has a passive that he can activate. Well, it's not really a passive then I guess, but his trait is activatable. Oh, and as I wanted to go into that, we're having a Dragonite taken, so let's focus on that real quick before we talk about Khaldor a bit more and see what exactly WellMed can do with the first Dragonite in the game. They're already starting to move in right over here. Oh, Sport Billy, yeah. He's focusing the attention of 3 heroes already into the mid lane. And as you can see, most of the lanes are still being soaked. Down here, we should actually see Arthas soaking the lane, and that's exactly what he does. Arthas, another hero, have to go to the bot lane. You cannot focus solely on the Dragonite. You will lose out too much experience, and then you are in a really big problem. Here's already the Flamethrower. That's the increased range on Flame Strike. There's a few options that you have on level 13 for Khaldor if you're going for the build that is most common these days. You can also go for a build that applies additional living bombs to targets that are being hit by the living bomb explosion. Illidan actually taken out at the top lane. Oh, look at that. And they're going for Death as well. But in this case, the Flamethrower works very well. It synergizes just like perfectly with the level 16 talent that you're going to get, Ignite, and it helps you a lot to really just poke from a distance and use that. We're going to talk about Khaldor in a second. Interesting is though that we have Healing Surge taken on the side of Sefkaja here on his Rhaegar, instead of the Feral Lunge, which we sometimes see. I don't really think that you need the extra damage here, so with the healing, I think he made a very, very good choice. And what we are also seeing is, oh my god, Showstopper, look at that! Groupies is the talent that is most common now on ETC on level 13. To be honest with you, I haven't seen a single ETC game in competitive play without Groupies taken. But instead of that, that's actually really interesting. So that's pretty cool. I feel like you can be more aggressive with Power Slide using that. It's an interesting adjustment. I wonder how that exactly is going to influence the play that we're going to see from them. Also, Phase Shield being used on Brightwing. Well, oftentimes it was the case that you would go for the Shrink Ray here or a Sprint, but nowadays it's more the Phase Shield that we're seeing. Burning Rage over Imposing Will, Illidan. Oh, and double Burning Rage. This is actually what Team Arthas used to do in the last patch, to go for a double Burning Rage. It's more common on Turiel to see the Imposing Will, since it's just absolutely great when it comes to that shield, what he can do with it. But having, of course, that extra damage thanks to that mini immolation is pretty damn good, especially if both of your initiators are running with it. Jaina is still going not into an ice block, but instead heading straight into a sprint. If you would see Pyroblast, it's very, very likely that we would have seen one. Oh, there's already the web being used, and here comes ETC with the stage dive. But it's just not working out for him. He gets interrupted right away. Down goes ETC after Khaldor was already biting the dust. Good old Abathor is just trying to get away, and so is Kunichan. Does he have his ult? Nope, he does not, and therefore he dies as well. Great move here at this point from WellMed. That was really a landslide victory in that last fight that we saw from them here, and that puts them way ahead in experience. We wanted to talk a bit about Khaldor though, and it's actually a good part in the game to talk about Khaldor, because he's one of the heroes that can really help you once he hits level 16 to come back into the game. He has a trait that's called Veteran Spheres, and if he activates it, his next ability that he's using is improved. If you go for a Living Bomb, it means that the first Living Bomb doesn't cost mana and the cooldown is not affected, so it means if you use Veteran Spheres first, you can use 2 Living Bombs right in a row. If you use the Flame Strike, for example, it increases the radius of the Flame Strike, and that is what you usually do when you have the level 16 talent once that Khaldor has that. You go for the increased radius on Flame Strike, and you just try to poke from a distance with a Flamethrower talent and Ignite on level 16. I've been talking about the talent already quite a bit, and then you can do a whole lot of damage. You can get insane amounts of damage out. Like 10,000, 15,000 K with just one good Flame Strike. It's definitely possible, believe me. I've seen it, I've done it. It's crazy good. 16 talents for both of the teams now on the board. Criterize and Northern Exposure on the side of WellMed, and that of course is a ton of damage that you are putting on the target here if you focus both of them down. And at the same time a triple blood for blood. This is really, really tricky. If one hero is exposed for a second, he is going to die. Here comes Ignite, as already mentioned. We're having also Soma Transference and Envenomed Spikes for Abathur to help out Illidan. And Illidan is starting to move in, but of course he knows what's going on. And where's the Criterize not being used just yet? Brightwing is actually extremely low. Illidan is jumping in finally, and now is trying to go ham here, but he needs to be healed, and there is just no heal. Rhaegar, where was that ancestral healing? Oh my god, Sefkaja didn't get that in. Nice zoning here from the Phoenix, and now that 16 talent, unstable, just poking. Just look at that damage that he's suddenly dishing out. Look at these heroes getting so low here. This is just that power of Ignite, and it's also reflecting in the numbers. He's going to jump up in damage in just a few. You just wait and see. This is going to get really crazy. This is where Arthas does most of his work. Right now, he's of course still on the squishy side and has to be careful, but Arthas basically brought that back. I don't want to say alone, but he contributed heavily to this. So right now we're having up at the top, we're having Unstable already in position here. We're having, as you can see, down to the bot lane, Des still. Des in this case, I mean, so far he attempted one mosh pit and that didn't really work out properly because it got interrupted right away. It was in the last fight. On a map like this, oftentimes you will see stage dive over a mosh pit because it gives you just so many options when it comes to controlling the shrines here. 7 kills against 8, and actually a pretty nice game that we're seeing so far. Once again, just as a side note, keep that in mind, 24,000, alright, so let's combine that with Vala. Vala has 24,000 currently as well, so that's the damage that we're seeing on Arthas. Just remind that because we're going to talk about that in just a bit. We're having for Illidan Stone Skin taken. Interesting. Stone Skin over Blood for Blood. I guess what Kuni-chan basically says is that he won't be able to really use that Blood for Blood and wait that timing out. That he has more of a panic button that he can use with Stone Skin, since he knows that with the 16 talents that we're seeing for Well Met, it's all about the sniping ability. It could of course be a misclick. But I still think that this could be an option. In general, Blood for Blood is better. Blood for Blood in general is one of the best talents that you can take on 16. There's no doubting it. And the only thing that I can really see, if not a misclick, why Kuni-chan decides to go into Stone Skin over Blood for Blood, is that he says, alright, my opponent has a triple Blood for Blood. I am the hero that they are targeting. They have Criterize as well. I need to make sure that I get that I somehow survive, and I won't be able to just use my Blood for Blood and target a hero. So this is more of like a safety net that he has there than anything else, even though of course it's not just as good as Blood for Blood. Kill against Brightwing at the top lane here, thanks to Sevka and also Arthas. So they have once again an opportunity to come back in experience, and it's also about the Dragonite right now, because well, Met is closing in on that level 20 talent, and with that in play, they have of course a big advantage here. I'm a bit surprised that nobody's trying to take the top shrine, the bottom shrine here, since well, Met is clearly rotating to the top. I think they saw more than only one hero. They should have seen quite a few of those. But they're trying to go for Tyrael, and they abandon the mid lane. I am surprised. Alright, they're taking the shrine up here. The rest of the well Met squad moved already away. Here comes the initiation. We have Ignite being used once again. Here's the Phoenix. A nice heal on Des, just barely saving him. Soke is in trouble and goes down on his Tyrael. And at the same time, we're having now once again an Ubarak moving in, trying to turn around and go for a quick stun against Des, but this is the Russian team doing extremely well right now and suddenly getting ahead in kills, also getting the level 20 talent first. Andy Landy has to be a bit careful, but he's still fine. He goes for Blink here, the Bolt of the Storm. We have a Storm Shield and Demonic Form being used. Abathur has now, of course, a couple of options here on his side. We're seeing Blink also taken on ETC, not going for the Turbos, which would be the additional upgrade for the Mosh Pit. So we're not seeing that just now for him. At the bot lane, uh-oh, wow, the Slug taken out. Abathur gets one full in the face from Hazorps, who just says, hello, you little guy, and goodbye. Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. He just died way too fast, and now, of course... Oh my god, are they still getting the Dragonite? Oh, this is so good. This is perfect. If they wouldn't have gotten the Dragonite just now, we could have seen well Met after those two heroes are back to move into the mid lane and try to get a Dragonite on their own. But with two heroes still dead, well Met didn't want to poke too much. Now the Dragonite is in play. Even if it doesn't do damage, denying it to your opponent is already half the battle in this case. Double Hardened Shield on Tyrael and also on Anubarak. They are super tanky right now. It's really difficult to deal with them. And well, let's have another look at the damage while we're moving in here. Just look how far ahead suddenly Arthas is. He's at 36,000, and I can promise you that this is going to increase a lot. We didn't really have too many big team battles after the last one where Arthas had his 24,000. Since then he gained 12,000 additional damage. And I can promise you one thing, if we have a big team battle where he can just poke with Ignite and Flame Thrower being used, then we are going to see a lot more than that. He's already waiting up here in the back and starting to move in. He didn't like that punt, I can tell you that much. He's like, dude, what are you doing? Keep those guys away from me. Double bomb once again, moving in. Unstable needs to be careful. Sport Billy is still there. Kuni-chan is going deep. He's very low on HP, and Illidan is moving back right away. Once again, a double living bomb applied. As you can see, they're spreading out, making sure that that area of effect damage is not going to hit too hard. But that Flame Strike is doing some work. He's already at 41,000, clearly rising in numbers. And Khaldor, after level 16, this is really the time where he shines, where he is dishing out the damage, where he is bringing you the deeps. Hive Mind is being used. Well, if ETC jumps in together with Illidan, then Hive Mind can definitely help you a lot with the damage and getting the numbers out there. Having both of the teams aiming straight for the camps. It's of course that late stage situation in the game where you know that one team fight can basically win you the game. Maybe not quite for Arthas yet, because they haven't taken down a keep yet, but the keep in the mid lane is gone for the Russian team. If they lose a team fight, they are done for, and Wellmet knows that. They're trying to come in from behind. They're trying to use the initiation here. Web is already being used. Spot Billy is super low. The stun and the snipe against Khaldor. He didn't get a chance to do anything except for the Phoenix here. And suddenly Arthas is getting taken apart one by one. Their damage dealer is already out there with the back to the wall. They're actually trying to chase down Shadowmar, but they don't get Brightwing. Brightwing survives, and here comes the kill against ETC. They've been diving deep for this one, and they didn't even get the kill. Here comes the third kill against Rhaegar, and now well met with 5 players against 3 could decide to go through the mid lane, since Kuni-chan is, besides Abathur, the only one out there to really do something, and he's trying to go for Sport Billy, but he's getting away. And yeah, that was a last ditch attempt. He was just trying to do something, get a kill and get out of there, the only chance that they really had. There was just nothing else that he could do. Moving back and trying to defend at the core is a pointless endeavor when you know that there's nobody there to really help you out with that. Well, we have Khaldor, so maybe he could have tried to protect it, but you can already see the damage. Khaldor for another 4 seconds, and the shield is already gone. Even with a Flame Strike, it's pretty difficult to get anything done here. He's going to try, but it's of course already way too late. There's the web as well, 50% on him. Even with nearly the most damage in the game, there's nothing that Khaldor can do anymore to salvage the situation. This is well meant, taking game number 1, the best of 3 series here at the ESL Major League.
Wellmet takes game number 1, is in the lead now, and needs one more map to win the best of 3 series here in the Major League. Arthas not really able to control that match the way they want it, and Wellmet takes the lead in the series therefore. The second map is going to be Cursed Hollow on the other hand, and we're going to jump into that game. And the draft was already quite strange. There was actually like a few choices that I personally couldn't really understand there, and we're going to talk about that in the game itself, of course. So let's have a quick look at game number 2 and find out who's going to take it here. Will Wellmet take the series with a 2-0, or is Arthas going to turn things around and force a third game out of their opponents?
Alrighty boys, game number 2, we have Arthas going up against Wellmet on Cursed Hollow, and currently Wellmet is in the lead with a 1-0 in the best of 3 series here at the ESL Major League. We have very interesting lineups that I didn't expect like that. To the left we have Team Arthas with Andilendi on Jaina, Des on Stitches, Unstable is playing Khaldor, we have Seth Karja on Malfurion, and Kuni-chan on Sergeant Hammer. 3 assassins, like 3 damage dealers, a very squishy setup that we're seeing for Arthas. To the right side it's Wellmet with Shadowmar on Sylvanas, Sport Billy on Brightwing, Hazorps on the Lost Vikings, Sovold on Zeratul, and Nuburak on Zocker. There's a couple of things that I personally found very weird in the draft here, and I want to talk about that. Oh, and we have interesting first talents as well. Okay, we're going to talk about those in a second too. The first thing that I found really surprising is that after Khaldor was picked, Wellmet decided to go into the Lost Vikings, and while the Lost Vikings are a great hero, Khaldor, especially after 16, is amazing against them. He's absolutely amazing against Lost Vikings because he can blow them up with his Flame Strike and Ignite pretty easily. The Living Bomb against the Vikings is always a huge problem, so that was one of the things that surprised me a bit. And then just shortly after that, after Wellmet decided to go into, oh, nice attack in the mid lane. I'm really liking that by Wellmet. Yeah, here comes the attack. But they're already forced back and Zocken needs to burrow out. But yeah, after Wellmet then picked a Nuburak, suddenly they decided to go into Stitches, and I find that extremely surprising. Look how many of those beetles are already running around. You're up against an opponent that runs the Lost Vikings and also Nuborok, so there's going to be Vikings everywhere and also beetles everywhere. So getting a good hook against heroes like, let's say, Jaina, for example, is going to be nearly impossible, and I found that very interesting, considering that we have so many other good tanks and bruisers currently in the game. So yeah, a couple of picks that I did not expect, especially the Sergeant Hammer pick as the last pick of Team Arthas after what we've seen here. They have so much damage already with Jaina and Khaldor that I really thought they would try to keep them safe with a second tank, a second bruiser. They decided not to, and now they have to somehow try and keep this setup alive. If they get the damage in, it's going to be great. Oh, look at the damage, talking about that. But if they at some point lose the momentum in one of the team fights, I feel they are very close to getting wiped. As it is, we're having these two setups, we're going to run with that, and I'm pretty excited to see how this is going to go, for the reasons that I just mentioned. A few of the picks I feel didn't really make too much sense, but, oh, the kill against Jaina already over here. But at the same time, I mean, these teams, there is some kind of thought process behind it, and let's just see how that's going to work out for them. Currently, also, we're having still Mana Addict taken on Khaldor. I was already in the draft talking a bit about the opportunity or the possibility of Khaldor not going into Mana Addict, since we have Malfurion in the game, so he can help him out with mana, and that would solve the mana problem that Khaldor has in the mid-game and early-late game. But in this case, we're still having that. Hook so far, not doing too much here. The level 4 talent is already on the board, and we're seeing in this case Maelstrom Shells taken. Once again, we have Protective Shield over a potential promote, and we are seeing Envenom now also taken on the left side. Eric already going down, and Unstable is moving in. Living Bomb! Ah, he gets only one in. Doesn't get the Living Bomb as well, so that didn't work out for him. At the top, we already have the Tribute taken. Andy Lendy goes down. And yeah, currently Arthas is getting punished for the squishy setup here. We're seeing them with the Gathering Power on Khaldor, pretty normal. Good hook, by the way, got that hook in. Nobody in to block that. There's once again Amplified Healing and Chew Your Food, normal Sustained Stitches build, nothing out of the ordinary. It's what you would expect with a single tank. You can't really play anything else but that. Everything else, like for example going to a Slam build, would make you way too squishy. Vikings against Khaldor, as already mentioned before, is a pretty risky move. Eric just doesn't have the hit point pool, and especially later on. We don't even have Fission Bomb, by the way. The level 7 talent that applies additional 75% to your Living Bomb isn't even there yet, and the Vikings are already struggling. It's only going to continue that way once the level 7 is reached, and of course then later on 16, when we're really talking damage. Level 1, we have the Lost Soul, which reduces the cooldown of the Shadow Dagger. Apparently they want to work with that a lot. Once again, Hazobs is nearly being blown up, but there's 3 heroes jumping in, so Vault and Sport Billy assist Hazobs, so you didn't have to worry about that, and they are losing one of their heroes. Initiation against Kuni-chan, nice, well done by him. Moving back immediately, pushing the opponent back, good job on his side. 1 kill against 3. So far, so good. Oh, and we have Remorseless and Follow Through for Zeratul. Look at that right-click build that we're seeing for Zeratul here. Ah, another kill against the Lost Vikings. And here's the Fission Bomb talent that I've been talking about. Interesting build here on Sovold. I kinda like that we're seeing something, well, not new, but focused attack got a bit changed now, so focused attack is actually like a bit stronger, and we have follow through here as well. So these two talents together, that could actually end up in a lot of damage for Sovold. The right click build on him is not too bad, and this is gonna be an interesting game. I'm liking this a lot. Even though a couple of those talents and a couple of those picks didn't really make sense to me, I am very willing to see what the plan of both teams is, and with the new builds that we are seeing here, it makes it even more exciting than it would be otherwise. We have once again a kill against Arthas. And I really feel that they're currently getting punished for their squishy lineup that they're using. They're losing also the bot lane now against Sylvanas. That's of course always one of the big problems if you're up against the Sylvanas setup. Kuni-chan at the top lane is trying to push and took a tower down, but every single time he's engaged upon by Soccer, he has to move back. There's just nothing he can do against that. At the bot lane, nobody's really defending. They need to take care of the tribute too, because they already lost 2 of them. Down goes the 4. There's level 9.5 against level 8. Arthas is currently getting wrecked here. Soccer up at the top. Can he burrow away? Nope, he cannot. He was very much alone out there. Bit out of position, I'd say. So in this case, it's actually Kuni-chan starting to get the damage in over here. At the bot lane, well, Met simply goes for the boss. They're saying, you're welcome to take the tribute. We're going to take the boss in the meantime. Let's see how you're going to deal with that. So yeah, they're going to try and use this. Right now we're already having the boss down. Unstable throws a flame strike in, but well, as you can see, that didn't really do too much. It was a bit of a hot breeze against Sylvanas and not much more than that. Hazops is still soaking some experience at the bot lane, so keeping Eric isolated on the map and making sure that he gets some EXP at least in. The level 10 is ready for Well Met, way faster than for their opponents. A Blink Heal being used, Longbow, Void Prism, also the Web Blast. And Sylvanas, well, is of course going to go for the Wailing Arrow. You can't go for Possession right now. Possession as is a pretty shitty talent. We're having Wailing Arrow already picked, and yep, boss at the top lane. That's what they're focusing for next. You get a double boss basically, because you force the opponent to deal with the boss at the bot lane. You have the level 10, so you're going to take that. It's the Phoenix, as I said. Phoenix is a great talent to take on this map in particular, because you can, in theory, zone the two bosses pretty easily if you want to go in for that, and you can zone tributes, which is great. We are also having Puric Bile, Water Elemental, Tranquility, of course, being used, and Napalm. And now with the level 10s, this is really where the teams need to pick up the fighting pace a bit. Of course, yeah, there's the hook against the Nubarak. I really feel that Stitches is a horrible pick on this map. I mean, sorry, not on the map. The map is actually good for Stitches, but against this setup. Look at this setup. Who are you gonna hook? Soccer? He doesn't care. He just burrows out. Even if he doesn't, he just stuns you. You hook Zeratul? So what? He blinks away. You hook Sylvanas? That's the only one where you can actually get something out of your hook. And the problem with the Sylvanas hook is, well, Sylvanas is shielded by Zeratul, who can blink away, or bubble you, by Zocker, by the Vikings. And here we go. Nice Void Prism. Here comes Hazops with the damage thanks to the Longbow. And they're trying to get the DPS in. Web was already used. And they're just moving away at this point. Zefkaje is healing everything out there. But yeah, Des is starting to move in with Stitches. But they are going to lose a couple of Vikings. Sport Billy on his Brightwing is also moving away here. And Hazops just sacrifices one. Here comes the Silence. And that's about it. 4 kills against 2.5. We're seeing all of them just moving around on the map again towards the camps, trying to take those. The boss has gone through the top lane. And at this point already, we don't see a single fort on the map anymore for Team Arthas. They lost every single one of them. All 3 forts. They only have keeps left. Keeps are the only thing that they have left here. And yeah, the 13 talent is very close for Well Met. Can take a close look at the damage, give you a bit of an idea what's going on there. Currently not too much DPS just yet on Zeratul, but still. The tribute on the map, and actually Zeratul is already in position, and this is the cursed tribute. This is the tribute that matters. And if they get it another, yeah, they get leveled, aren't they? They're gonna get to level 13. Sport Billy's gonna get it at the bot lane and before he jumps in. They just have to buy a bit of time for 1 or 2 creeps, and there it is. Level 13 versus level 10s. Double spell shield is being used here against the snipes. Now face shield, wormhole, and impatience is a virtue. And this is one that they should definitely win. Hook against Shadowmar, that was a decent one. Shadowmar is actually going to go down here. But we're having Kunichan already dying, and they're just moving in. The web is being used. There's kill against Arthas. Void Prism in the back. And yep, that is also going to be the end of Andy Lendi. Zefkaje is not going to make it here either. And Des is the only one who is rushing away in this case. 13 talent advantage is going to do that. And once again, Stitches is just not doing shit in this game. So right now we're having the entire setup just moving in. They are way too... Arthas is way too squishy here. They are way too far on the squishy side. And that's being proven in these team fights. Yep, there's the kill. It was a complete team wipe after Stitches now died too. And they are, with the curse, just moving in, starting to do the damage against the wall. Having Kunichan here for the defense is of course nice for Arthas. He can at least help with that. But right now we are seeing every single lane pushing. At the bot lane, they are already exposing the keep. This is where now Unstable is starting to move in. He's just waiting for 16 so that he can do even more damage than that. But right now it's not really working out for him. At the top lane with level 15 versus 13, we're having Well Met moving in 9 kills against 3.7. They're just roaming the map right now, getting a kill here, getting a kill there, pushing a tower in, just trying to do what they can. There's actually with a really nice attempt to hook one of the targets, but then again, what are you going to hook? We talked about half the lineup already. Is Well Met really going to care if Des hooks a Viking? Do you think so? Of course not. So right now we're having actually Hazops trying to take down the walls. I like that. denying vision is always great, so doing that, it's pretty important, I feel. The boss timings, by the way, 6 seconds on the boss over here. It looks like they're just trying to go for the keep, not fighting for the boss. They know that Arthas is expecting them down here, so they're just saying like, yeah, why would we even bother with that? We're moving in and we're gonna take the keep. And suddenly, yeah, well, Arthas is there and says like, alright, you take our keep, we take the boss. Not quite sure if that's really a good trade, but well, yeah. That keep is gone, and now they're just moving on to get the next one. They're saying like, well, if you don't TP back, we're just gonna take keep number 2. Boss is taken. They start to move back, but guys, well, newsflash, keep number 2 is gonna fall as well. Yeah, 1 boss against 2 keeps. Congratulations. Yeah, Soccer actually missed. I don't know if you saw that, but he actually missed the burrow strike here. So he dies, but that wasn't planned. He tried to burrow to the other side and didn't make it. 16 talents are now ready for them. There's a wormhole, there's a criterize, Norse force. Actually, Des might be able to get 1 Viking, but there's nothing else that he can really pick. Rest of the heroes are in the mid lane. So with the 13 talents at least, I mean, they have level 15 now. So they could, with a kill on the 4 down here, maybe get closer to 16. Arthas just lost 2 keeps. They just lost 2 keeps, even if they get the 16 talent. Oh my god, they're gonna lose another one for the boss at the top. This is going to be the 3rd one that they lose, and then they have not a single keep left. And well, Matt does not care at all about that boss. They're saying like, yeah, what you gonna do? Kill our 4? Boo-hoo! Our bad 4. We just took your keep apart. You are welcome to the fort. The only thing that I can really see that is going to work for Arthas is if on 16 Khaldor explodes with Ignite. Ignite in theory can just like annihilate the Vikings, can absolutely kill those Vikings easily and go straight into a turnaround. That's the only thing that I can see happen here. If Khaldor goes absolutely ham, and that's a long shot. I mean, of course he's going to get a lot of damage in, I mean, no doubt about that, but he needs to do work at this point, and not only a little bit. So right now, the boss, you have to defend against that, but they're not going to lose a keep here, which is the important part. They're already moving in, and Khaldor is getting sniped. Well, good start. So them losing Khaldor is definitely not what you want there. And by the way, trading Khaldor for Zeratul at this point, yeah, you can definitely take that trade, because that's the big danger. Khaldor is the big danger. If Zeratul throws out a Void Prism before, that would be great. Up here, the stun, no curse for them just yet. Shadowmar is starting to move in. Stitches is still there. Is he going to try and throw a bit of a hook there? Once again, trying to stun out Sefkage. They're all moving into position for this. Sport Billy is on the move up at the top. Soccer waiting in the bush. They're waiting for Zeratul. And of course, the Russian team. Oh, there's the hook against Eric. And as I already said before, losing Eric, who cares? So right now, Hazops didn't even lose that, so the hooks don't do anything so far. I'm gonna eat my words later when he hits the amazing hook against one hero and they win the game because of that, but so far, well, the flow of the game has actually proven me right. Hazops is still putting that out, and apparently they're giving it up. They're simply giving it up. They're saying like, yes, we can't take it. It's only the first one for Wilmette, so why fight for it? Hazops is still taking walls out. As I said before, I love that move. Denying vision is great. They allow, of course, the hook of the opponent to go through, but I think people overvalue the value. They like overvalue walls when you're up against the Stitches. There are situations when you want to keep those walls in. Definitely true, but I think in general it's a very, very good move to take them out, because the vision that the walls grant you over the entire map is more important than that one hook that might be dodged if... I mean, there's so many variables there, and I really think it's better if your opponent has never an idea of where exactly you are. And how often did one of those walls really block a hook? In a situation where the keep and everything was already taken out, of course. Just the walls on the map. So bosses are going to be up in another minute and 2 minutes in the case of the top one. Tribute, this is one that the Russian team can still give up. Look how the lanes are being pushed in. Hazops at the top, down here we have Servold pushing this in. They're pushing those lanes in against Arthas, and Arthas is always in a situation where they are threatened to lose a few of their structures here. Here comes the move from Wilmette. They're starting to move in, but Hazops on the Vikings is still far, far away. He is all the way up at the top. I don't think they can fight for this. And I'm not 100% certain what Servold was trying to do here. That was odd, to say the least. stun that out, but without the Vikings, they didn't have a chance in the first place. So he goes in, lets himself be sniped, and I guess he was thinking he could use the bubble against it, but that didn't work out. So right now we're having Zeratul dead. That puts them into a 4 versus 5 position. Well, Matt needs to be careful. As I said before, Arthas is gonna get the damage in on level 16, and that's what happens right now. And if they throw away a hero there, a hero here, like they currently do, then they will still have a problem. Hazops is starting to push the top even more. He's in his opponent's main base, but I'm not quite sure if he can really force them to recall. I don't think that they care. I really don't think that they care. What are the Vikings gonna do? Take the lanes down? Well, so what? There's a cursor currently at the board. I am not really sure what has Ops, if that's really the smart move. Finally he's starting to be back, but they might lose a keep at the bot lane, and level 20 is just around the corner for Team Arthas right now. Well, Matt has to be extremely careful. They played a great game, they have the better comp in my opinion for reasons mentioned, and they've played it well, but right now they are starting to throw a bit. Good blink away by Sport Billy using the blink here, but whoa! Gets taken out after that. Arthas is being attacked, and Arthas is currently starting to go ham. Look at that damage. He is dying, but he still has now 38,000 damage. 2 heroes lost on the side of Well-Met. Both of the teams are looking at level 20 now. We're having a lot of damage, especially on Zeratul, who went straight for the Nexus Blade. Oh, sorry, yeah. And we're having kills on both sides right now. Des is extremely low. So is Anilendi, trying to help himself with... Oh, Hazops is going for the go. Moves in. 1 kill, 2 kills, and 2 hits. Yes, no. Anilendi, is he going to get away here? If Hazops starts splitting and just moves around there, he can maybe get that in. But nope, it seems to be a bit too late. Up over here, Socke and Des are still fighting against each other. Here comes Anilendi for the kill against Socke. But goes down, and Socke is still alive, and Des is now going to potentially die as well. Arthas already losing hit points on the core thanks to the catapults. They're at 77 right now. They lost the entire team, and well, Matt is going for boss now. There was, for just a few seconds, it looked like they might struggle a bit more than they should have here, but now after that victory in the team fight, they are able to move up to the top and start to take the boss here. And with them moving straight for the boss, I mean, there is no fort left, so they can take boss after boss. 68, 66% on the core here, so 66, a lot actually already lost, and the boss, of course, won't even have to go through the entire shield if he's being taken immediately. The shield is going to start to regenerate, but it's not going to be at full health by the time that happens. And now they have the first boss. They can move in with that, or they can play it super safe, move down, take the second one, and go from boss into boss. And Sevka, Stable, and Kunichan, what exactly are they going to do? Apparently they're trying to face, well, Met here. I don't think they can. Here comes the attempt with a flame strike, but jump being used by Hazops to dodge that. And they need to be back. Yeah, that's a very interesting spot to use your B button, my friend. Yeah, goodbye Kunichan. And that's game. Yeah, that's GG right there. 66% on the core, 1 hero down, and yes, there we go. The rest of the team split. Finally, Anilendi moving in. The boss already at the core, starting to do its damage. This is going to be the kill against Jaina, and therefore, boys, we are seeing a 2-0 victory of Well Met against Team Arthas. Unfortunately for the Russian team, they weren't able to make it here. Don't take a map, and Well Met takes game number 2, and therefore a 2-0 victory at the ESL Major League against Arthas. Congratulations to Well Met. Pretty well played here.
And well, Matt, they take it 2 matches in a row and they win the best of 3 series. That Stitches pick really didn't work out for the Russian team in this case. They were trying to get something done, but every single target that they hooked immediately had an escape ready. Right wing with the blink heal, Anu Barak with, of course, the burrow strike at the same time. Zeratul just like blinking away the entire time. If you hook a Viking, he just uses jump and is gone. So very difficult for them to really get into the flow of the game. They had a huge amount of burst damage, but they never really got that often with all those initiators that we had on the side of their opponent's team. It just was very difficult for the Russians to make anything happen here. At the end of the day, it's a 2-0 victory for Well Met. So Arthas losing another series. They haven't really found a liking to the patch just yet. They still need to toy around there a bit. Of course, it also didn't help that Stalk left the team and is now with Nihilum, so they have a few lineup changes there too, which is definitely something that we should consider talking about it. Either way, Well Met takes the best of 3, so congratulations to them. And guys, I hope that you enjoyed the match here as well. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, write a comment in the comments. comment section. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Thank you very much for tuning in today, and I'm going to see you next time with more Heroes of the Storm on Khaldor TV. Have a great day. Bye bye.